A very good morning. You're watching News at 10 on Rajya Sabha television, bringing you the top national, international sports and business news. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and in this morning we have two big stories related to polls. While Srinagar has defied poll history, witnessing lowest ever poll percentage, down south, the Election Commission has cancelled RK Nagar by poll. Well, those are big stories and much more in this bulletin. Let us start with the headlines. By-polls to RK Nagar Assembly seat in Tamil Nadu cancelled. Electoral process seriously vitiated by use of money power, says Election Commission. 8 people killed in violence during by-polls to Srinagar Lok Sabha seat. Lowest turnout in 30 years of 7.14%. President urges the people to extend unstinted support to Mission for Less Cash India, says India on cusp of digital revolution. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull to hold talks with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Defence, security, energy, trade to take centre stage. And at least 44 people killed in attacks on 2 Coptic churches in Egypt. Islamic State claims the responsibility. 3-month emergency declared. Well, the by-poll for the Srinagar Lok Sabha seat saw its lowest turnout in 30 years as multiple incidents of violence resulted in deaths of 8 civilians on Sunday. Well, the violence took place as protesters clashed with security forces and targeted around 4 dozen places in Srinagar and Budgam as well, amid a boycott which was called by the separatists there. Well, the protesters indulged in stone pelting and petrol bomb attacks and even set on one poll booth ablaze as well. More than 100 police and paramilitary personnel were wounded during the day-long clashes. Now, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti expressed distress over the deaths and said that she was pained that most of them were teenagers who were yet to understand the intricacies of the issues. Well, the by-poll to the high-profile seat where former Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah is locked in a straight fight with the ruling PDP's Nazir Ahmed Khan saw an abysmal 7.14% turnout. The separatists have called for a 2-day strike now to protest the deaths.
There were more than 200 incidents all over this constituency and more so, and particularly in Budgam district. These incidents included stone pelting, petrol bomb attacks. One of the polling booths was also set ablaze, and there were two attempts also to set ablaze polling booths. And because of that, we had to temporarily close polling booths.
The election should have been peaceful. That is what elections are. People have to show their presence and support whoever they want to. That is the first and foremost thing about freedom of this nation. People have fought for this vote and they should be able to utilize this vote. But unfortunately, this government has failed in giving that peaceful atmosphere to the people.
And on to the other poll-related big story. Well, the 12th of April by-poll to the RK Nagar Assembly constituency in Tamil Nadu has been cancelled. Well, the Election Commission said that the electoral process has been seriously vitiated by parties through the use of money power. The Election Commission said, and I quote, "The current electoral process in Tamil Nadu has been seriously vitiated on account of unlawful activities of the candidates and political parties and their workers by bribing the electors and unlawfully inducing them by offering money and other gifts of consumerable items to woo them in their favor," unquote. Well, it also said that the polls will be held in due course, so when the vitiating effect gets removed with the passage of time. On Friday, searches were conducted on Tamil Nadu Health Minister C. Vijay Bhaskar's premises. Well, researchers on the premises of his associate also revealed a routing of 89 crore rupees for the distribution to voters in the RK Nagar Assembly constituency. Now, remember, Vijay Bhaskar is a loyalist of AIADMK Amma faction's candidate TTV Dinakaran.
The investigation should be expanded and it should be probed in much deeper way, because the list which was occurred from the Vijay Bhaskar's house, Chief Minister name was there and other ministers' names were there. 89 crores. If they would have spent this amount of money in the constituency, instead of giving 4,000 per head in once, they would have earned every month this 4,000 rupees. So we want a free and fair election, and we want a corrupt-free politics. This is not the full stop. This is the starting of a corrupt-free politics in Tamil Nadu. So each and every suspicious person, whatever may be the post he holds, he should be investigated, and what all the money which was swindled from the people, it should be taken back, and definitely there should be a free and fair election. Not only free and fair election, politics should be cleansed in Tamil Nadu.
News from the national capital now, where the bypolls to the Rajouri Garden Assembly constituency in Delhi on Sunday recorded a low turnout of approximately 47%, besides the technical snags in voter verifiable paper audit trail machines. While the chief electoral officer said that during the polling process, 38 VVPAT machines had to be replaced due to technical reasons. He added that there was no report of any untoward incident at any place. Remember, the polling stations remained largely desolate in the first few hours of polling, which began at 8 a.m. yesterday. An electorate of 1.6 lakh people exercised their franchise, while the constituency, remember, had recorded a 68% voting in 2013 and 72% in 2015. Well, a senior Congress leader Ajay Makan said that the bypoll was a referendum on Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's 2-year rule and claimed that his party candidate Meenakshi Chandela will clinch the seat. Well, the BJP SAD combined candidate Manjinder Singh Sirsa said that the turnout is usually low during the bypolls. AAP candidate Harjeet Singh, however, blamed confusion over the poll date for the low turnout. Remember, this seat fell vacant earlier this year after Aam Aadmi Party's Jarnail Singh quit as an MLA to contest Punjab Assembly polls.
लेकिन 2.25 साल में जो आम आदमी पार्टी ने दिल्ली के लोगों के साथ जाति की है, आज लोगों के मन में गुस्सा है। लोग ये समझ रहे हैं कि जब तो केजरीवाल जी को 15,000 रुपए की थाली खानी है, तब तो मोदी जी उनको रोक नहीं पाते।
लोगों ने समझा है कि कांग्रेस ही काम कर पाएगी और कांग्रेस का, और उम्मीद करते हैं कि इस बार लोगों का जो हमें सपोर्ट मिल रहा है उसके बिना पर मैं आप लोगों से कहती हूं कि इस बार कांग्रेस का विधानसभा में खाता खुलेगा।
चुनाव में महिलाओं की सेफ्टी होनी चाहिए, एक साफ सफाई होनी चाहिए। रजौरी गार्डन में मार्केट में इतनी गंदगी है, कुछ कहने की बात नहीं। सारी जगह जगह उन्होंने स्टॉल लगाए हुए दुकानदारों ने अपने, उससे इतनी परेशानी होती है हमें चलने में, हम पैदल चल ही नहीं सकते।
लोगों के काम हो, जो लोग चाहें, सफाई वगैरह, ये सब चीज़ों पे ध्यान दिया जाए और अच्छी दिल्ली बनाई जाए।
Well, the Election Commission has said that EVMs are robust and tamper-proof, and even the manufacturers cannot manipulate them at the time of production. Well, the opposition has been questioning the reliability of the EVMs, and this really has prompted the Election Commission to come out with a list of frequently asked questions to put across its views in public domain. The Commission has said that the tamper detection feature makes an EVM inoperative the moment anyone tries to open the machine. Well, the self-diagnostic feature checks the EVM fully every time it is switched on, and any change in its hardware or software is also detected. Well, ruling out the possibility of manipulation of the machines at the place of storage as well, the Commission said that security measures and double checks are carried out so that such a possibility does not arise. On to some other news now, where President Pranab Mukherjee has urged all citizens to extend their unstinted support to the mission of a less cash India. Well, he stated that all efforts of the government will achieve their end only if people were to adopt them proactively. Mukherjee was speaking on the occasion of the 100th mega draw of lots for the Lucky Grahak Yojana and Digi Dhan Vyapar Yojana at the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Sunday. Well, applauding the initiatives under the Aadhaar card, he said that India is on the cusp of a digital revolution and more than 1 billion Indians have a unique identity number with a biometric identifier. He said the Aadhaar card initiative is a watershed event in the development story of the country. Mukherjee also complimented the government on its bold initiatives for promoting the culture of a digital payment in the country.
India has a long way to go to become a cashless society. Presently, we remain primarily a cash-based economy with about 95% of the personal consumptions and 86% of the transactions being in cash.
And in related news, well, the centre is mulling making Aadhaar or a passport mandatory for booking of domestic flight tickets. Well, this comes amid its plan to create a no-fly list to deal with unruly passengers. The Civil Aviation Ministry has said that a regulated DGCA will begin work on a civil aviation requirement this week for consultation with stakeholders next week. Aadhaar number or passport will be useful in identifying an unruly passenger who has been barred from flying. Well, the Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Jayant Sinha, had warned of severe consequences to unruly passengers, including police action and being placed on the no-fly list. Well, the no-fly list was mooted by Air India on the day Shiv Sena MP Ravindra Gaikwad hit the national carrier's staff. Well, Home Minister Rajnath Singh chaired the 11th Standing Committee meeting of the Interstate Council in New Delhi on Sunday. Well, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and Chief Ministers of Chhattisgarh, Tripura, Odisha and Uttar Pradesh also attended the meeting. Ministers from the states of Andhra Pradesh, Punjab and Rajasthan represented these states. Well, in his inaugural address, Rajnath Singh asked the states to rise above narrow sectarian interests to focus on the larger picture of national development. The committee examines in details various recommendations of the Panchayat Commission related to the provisions of the Constitution, such as the role of governors, deployment of central forces, federal balance of power, ensuring better coordination between the centre and the states, and other important issues of centre-state relations. This meeting was convened after a gap of 12 years.
इंटर स्टेट काउंसिल की यह मीटिंग थी और स्टेट टू स्टेट सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशंस के बारे में जो पुंछी कमीशन के रिकमेंडेशंस थे उन्हीं रिकमेंडेशंस पर आज इस इंटर स्टेट काउंसिल की स्टैंडिंग कमेटी की बैठक में चर्चा हुई है और बहुत सारे इशू सॉर्ट आउट हुए हैं और मैं समझता हूँ आगे भी अभी 2 बार और सीटिंग की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी। उसके बाद फिर फाइनली हम इंटर स्टेट काउंसिल की मीटिंग करेंगे जिसमें सारे स्टेट्स के चीफ मिनिस्टर पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे।
Well, Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull was accorded a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan a short while ago. He is on a 4-day visit to India and is here for the first time after assuming office in 2015. Well, during the visit, he will hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on ways to boost ties in key areas including defence, security, energy and trade. Well, Australia's High Commissioner to India, Harinder Sidhu, had clarified that the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement will not be signed up during the trip. Well, the talks for CECA were launched in 2011 and during the visit of former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott in 2014, the two sides had expressed hope that the pact would be inked by the end of 2015, a deadline which has already been missed. However, the Indian side has reiterated its commitment to free trade pact. Well, the two countries are also expected to sign a number of MOUs, including in areas of defence and security, environment, renewable energy, sports and trade. India is also likely to raise the issue of security of Indians in Australia in the wake of recent attacks.
Our ties are strong and will be stronger because of this visit. Prime Minister Modi is leading this most remarkable nation on an extraordinary journey of growth and development. The achievements of India are the admiration of the world, and we in Australia look forward to working even more closely than we have done in the past. We are bound together, the ties of history, of values, but above all, of people. Our countries are tied together with a shared destiny, and we look forward, the Prime Minister and I, to making that even stronger on this visit.
And in News at 10, a short break in here. We'll be back.
Tales that inspire. stories of social change. A salute to diversity, promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Well, big story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where 4 militants have been killed after the army foiled an infiltration bid in Keran sector in Kupwara district of North Kashmir. Well, the army defence spokesperson said that the group of militants tried to infiltrate from across the line of control in Keran sector, but the troops foiled their bid. In the subsequent exchange of fire, 4 militants were killed. Now, search operations are on in the area. News from Assam now. Well, the state government on Sunday published a draft population policy with an objective to incentivize parents with 2 or less number of children and thus facilitating a higher standards of living in the state. Well, the state government in its draft policy also proposes to make education for every girl child completely free up to the university level, which would even include a free transportation and hostel accommodation. Also, the state is considering including a provision for giving 50% of reservation to women in government jobs and elections. The state is also mulling setting up of a state population council along with the state population resource centre to assess the emerging population pattern of the state. Well, the draft population policy is expected to be tabled in the next assembly session of the state. Now, news related to climate change. As a rising sea level threatens Indian islands, well, the government has undertaken a study for demarcating the hazard line along the entire coastal belt of the country. Now, this hazard line will be an indicative of the shoreline changes, including the sea level rise due to climate change.
As assessments suggest that global warming-induced rise in sea levels may start consuming the world's coastlines well before 2050, the Government of India is developing a plan factoring in the possibility of climate change vulnerability. It has undertaken the Integrated Coastal Zone Management Project, which envisages large-scale assessment of the risks associated with shoreline changes and preparation of solutions to combat these risks. Under the Phase 1 of this project, shoreline management plans are prepared for 5 identified coastal stretches in Gujarat, Odisha and West Bengal on a pilot basis. This activity is planned to be proliferated to all the coastal stretches of the country under Phase 2.
Determined to ensure that whatever best is possible, whether it is reviewing the rules, whether it is getting into the nitty-gritty, whether it is providing a scientific backup, or whether it is collaborating with the whole world or the relevant stakeholders, we are going to put our heart and soul in.
The issue of rising sea level has found repeated resonance in the upper house of Parliament, with several members expressing grave concern over the vulnerability of the Indian coastal regions.
कि जो सी लेवल पे अनऑथोराइज्ड डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है, उससे मेरी ये चिंता है कि इससे समुद्रों पे इसका भारी असर पड़ता है. अगर वहाँ पानी रुक जाता है तो पानी का जो प्रवाह है वो प्रवाह आगे नहीं जा सकता, और उससे क्या होता है, हाई टाइड और लो टाइड में उसका प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट होता है. उससे क्रिएट होने से प्रॉब्लम इतना बढ़ जाता है कि समुद्र में जो मछुआरे हैं उनको प्रॉब्लम आनी शुरू हो जाती है.
Since 1901, global sea levels have risen approximately 8 inches. A United Nations Environment report has also pointed out that nearly 40 million Indians will be at risk from the rising sea levels by 2050, with Mumbai and Kolkata at maximum exposure to coastal flooding due to rapid urbanization and economic growth. Rising sea levels will cause flooding and will have the ability to wipe out entire cities. Hence, urgent steps are needed. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for more news from across the country, let's go nationwide. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Sunday met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP President Amit Shah, among other leaders of the party. Well, Yogi was in the national capital to attend the Interstate Council meet. Well, apart from the discussion on state's political and governance issues, the UP Chief Minister has also sought more funds from the centre for the development of Bundelkhand and Purvanchal regions. Rapid Action Force and CRPF held a flag march in Bhadrak district of Odisha, even as the curfew was relaxed for 4 hours on Sunday. Remember, violence broke out in Bhadrak town over alleged abusive remarks hurting religious sentiments on social media. As a precautionary step, the State Home Department restricted access to social media in the town and nearby areas for 48 hours to prevent the spread of rumours. Meanwhile, the Cyber Police Cell is also tracking the miscreants. Jishnu Pranoy's parents have called off their indefinite hunger strike on Sunday. It was only after the assurances of positive action on their demands from Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. Well, Pinarayi promised stern action in the case of any lapses on part of the police, which allegedly manhandled them during a protest. Now, Pranoy had committed suicide following alleged harassment by his college authorities. Big international story now. Well, a 3-month state of emergency has been announced in Egypt after attacks on 2 Coptic churches on Sunday left at least 44 people dead. Well, the attacks claimed by the Islamic State came on Palm Sunday, which is considered one of the holiest days in the Christian calendar. First, a suicide bomber targeted a St. George's Coptic church in the city of Tanta, where 27 people were killed. Hours later, police stopped the second bomber from entering the St. Mark's Coptic Church in Alexandria. But he detonated his explosives outside, leaving 17 people dead, including several police officers. After the explosions, President Abdul Fattah al-Sisi met the National Defense Council and he announced the emergency. Well, the measure allows authorities to make arrests without warrants and search people's homes. However, it needs to be approved by Parliament before it is implemented. Remember, Christians make up about 10% of the Egypt's population, and they have also long complained of being vulnerable and marginalized.
تم اتخاذ قرار النهارده بتشكيل المجلس الأعلى لمقاومة أو لمكافحة الإرهاب والتطرف في مصر. وده هيبقى على أعلى مستوى هيتم إصداره بقانون. هذا القانون الهدف منه أن يعطي هذا المجلس صلاحيات تمكنه.
النهارده ودعنا شباب أطهار أقول لهم طوباكم ولكن الحزن يملأني.
صدقني هي شعور مليانة بالأسى والحزن والكآبة بسبب العملة نفسها أو التجربة القاسية اللي دخلنا فيها. لم نكن نتوقع أن ناس معانا في البلد في محبة وفي صداقة وفي ألفة وفي عشرة وتصل إلى هذا الحد.
More news from the Middle East, from Syria, where US-backed Syrian forces are clashing with Islamic State in several parts of the country. Now, intense fighting is on in eastern Tabqa at the entrance to the Tabqa Dam, which is one of the prizes in Syrian forces campaign to drive the jihadist groups away from the Raqqa city. Also in the south of the country, coalition troops repelled an attack by Islamic State at the Tanf garrison joint base. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson spoke by phone with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Well, the two sides agreed to continue their discussions on Syria in person, with the Tillerson expected in Moscow on the 12th of this month. The two, remember, had their first phone conversation since the US airstrikes on Syria. Now, Tillerson says that Russia failed to prevent the country from carrying out an alleged chemical attack that prompted US strikes. Russia says that the US gave no evidence that Syria has chemical weapons. Remember, Syria has denied using any chemical agents. Now, US is seeking a global political response for regime change in Syria from its allies as well as from Russia.
In no way do we look at peace happening in that area with Iranian influence. In no way do we see peace in that area with Russian covering up for Assad. In no way do we see peace in that area with Assad as the head of the Syrian government. And we have to make sure that we're pushing that process. The political solution has to come together for the good of the people of Syria.
From Middle East to Europe now, and the arrested man suspected by police for killing of 4 people by ramming a truck into crowds in Stockholm is a 39-year-old from Uzbekistan. Well, Rahmat Akilov, the suspect, had expressed sympathy for Islamic State and he was denied a permanent residency in Sweden. 2 sources who had worked with the suspect, Akilov, independently identified him from images that were distributed by the police as the manhunt got underway on Friday last week. The police, however, declined to confirm his identity. Now, Akilov was detained in northern Stockholm suburb hours after he hijacked a truck and he plowed it into a pedestrian shopping street in central Stockholm that killed 4 people and injured 15 others. On to sports now, and the Indian women's hockey team will take on Chile in the final of the Hockey World League Round 2. India stormed into the final after 4-0 thrashing of Belarus in the semi-finals on Saturday. Chile, on the other hand, beat Uruguay 2-1 in the second semi-final. With a semi-final victory, India won a berth to take part in the Women's Hockey World League semi-final to be held in June to July. And from hockey to cricket in IPL, while Mumbai Indians rode on some sensational hitting by Nitin Rana and Hardik Pandya to pull off a 4-wicket win over Kolkata Knight Riders on Sunday, while chasing KKR's 178 for 7, Mumbai Indians won the match with 1 balls to spare. Also in another match, defending champions Sunrisers Hyderabad defeated Gujarat Lions by 9 wickets for their second straight win. Afghanistan spinner Rashid Khan restricted the Gujarat side for 135 for 7 with his 3 wickets, and the target was easily achieved by Hyderabad. That's all in this edition of news. Do stay tuned. Coming up ahead is Parliament news in both Hindi and English. Thanks for watching.